Welcome back to Giggles and Glutes, where we keep it real every week about fitness, life, and everything in between. I'm Zoe.
And I'm Donaé. And today we are going to be talking to you guys about micros and macros. And don't worry, it's not a biology lesson.
I would hope not, because I was pretty average in that.
All I remember about bio is the moss. Anyway, okay.
Before we dive in, stay with us until the end of this episode because we're teasing something big that's coming at the end of April. You're going to want to be in the loop for this.
100%.
Sweet. All right, let's start at the top. Macros is the short or the abbreviated word for macronutrients. And the stuff our body needs to move and to basically just do life. We get that energy source from the macronutrients. And then the macros are broken down into, I think we've all heard of these macronutrients, which are proteins, carbs, our fats, and alcohol. But we're not going to touch on alcohol so much today. Protein being the builder, the recovery guy, and then carbs being our fuel and our main energy source, and then the fats is the hormone helper. So fats helps to get all of the nutrients and the vitamins out of the foods that we eat.
This is really great because so many people are so confused about micros and macros just in a whole. They're like, what are you talking about? What do you mean that I have to count these things? Like, what exactly does it mean? So, yeah. I think it's great that you can break it down
especially
like
because
this.
In the last episode, we spoke about protein, and then I thought like we were speaking about protein and we were talking about like knowing how much protein you need per kg and all of that stuff. And then I was wondering like, do people actually understand all of the other things that come with that? Because we know that protein is a supplement and we know that we also get protein in our food, but do we know about all the other things? And that's when the idea popped into my mind that maybe we should speak on this. So starting with the queen of the show, protein. Like we spoke again last week, protein builds muscle. It helps us to repair tissue. It helps us in recovery and it supports immune function. It's beneficial for all of us to use protein. It's not just for bodybuilders. I want to reiterate that it's not just for bodybuilders.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest misconception ever. I remember when I started using protein powder, my mother was like, why are you taking that stuff? I'm like, calm down. It's really not that deep, mommy.
And then carbs. Carbs are literally the best friend of your brain. When you eat carbs, your brain is like, yeah, babes, thank you. But we know carbs gets demonized so much. The first thing I always hear someone say is, I'm cutting out carbs out of my diet. That's always the first thing to go. I'm like, my friend, I'm so sorry they're treating you like this.
Oh my goodness.
Carbs are literally our body's favorite energy source. You need carbs, my babe. Like, you need the carbs to carry you through the day, to keep you stable throughout the day.
I think once people understand it from that aspect, then only they understand. Once they've cut it out and they're like, I'm actually so tired. I can't function. I don't know if you've ever heard the saying, you have, obviously. You can't feed a hungry child. You can't teach. Sorry, you can't feed. You're supposed
to feed the hungry child, and it's terrible.
We're supposed to feed the hungry children. What I meant to say was, you can't teach a hungry child. And this actually derived from the fact that like carbs is our energy source, probably because what's the first thing that they feed people or children in, like
bread.
In areas of poverty? It's bread. Yes, 100%. So people are like, why am I so tired? Yes, exactly. Yeah. They're so important.
Yeah, carbs fuel your workout and our brains. Things like oats, fruit, sweet potatoes, rice are not the enemy. They're really just not. You just need to pick the right ones that works for you and works for your goals. And also enjoy it when you want to enjoy it at the same time. If you know me, you know I love a potato chip. But during the week, I will have sweet potato instead of having like potato. And then when I want to have hot chips or potato chips or fries or whatever, then I can allow myself to have that potato chip. But because I understand that every fruit and veg and grain serves its own purpose and fits in a different way. So we don't have to demonize everything and say, this is bad for my body, I'm totally cutting it out, because it just doesn't work that way. And then we're going to move on to fats, the most underrated MVP, honestly. Like, fats are so important for our skin, women, ladies, my babe, for your periods, for hormone support, for our mood. We need fats. As women, we need that stuff.
That like the fats aspect of things, like a lot of people that I knew in the past who did competition prep, their diet was always extremely low in fat, and they would actually skip their period while they were on prep, and then they would do 3 competitions in a row, which is 12 weeks prep, maybe 6 weeks or whatever in between, and they would skip the entire cycle, which is not healthy for your body because they're on diets that are so low in fats. Even super athletes as well, gymnasts. Yeah, those people.
And not just that, like avocado toast. Just want to take a moment to thank the avocados.
It's a love letter with no words.
No, just really. Like a warm slice of toast with lightly spread butter and then some avo. Okay, not some avo, a half a avo.
I was just about to say, don't lie to yourself, please. We're not putting some avo on that one slice.
Oh.
Damn it, now I'm hungry.
In the beginning, I mentioned that alcohol is also one of the macronutrients, and I said we're not going to talk about it. We're going to talk about it, but we're not going to go into depth. So technically, alcohol has calories as well, and hence why it falls into being a macronutrient. But it has 0 nutritional value. And alcohol has 7 calories per gram. Like a beer will have 7 calories per gram. The only reason why we're mentioning alcohol so that you can be aware of the fact that it also contains calories. I'm sure all of us know that already, but obviously has 0 nutritional value. As much as we want the grapes from the wine to give us the nutrition that we get from the grapes when we eat them fresh, it doesn't work that way, unfortunately.
And I just want to add that no, this does not mean that you're going to scratch the food and replace it with the alcohol, okay? If you're going to drink, please line your stomach and just deal with the extra calories.
And then obviously just to be mindful that if you are trying to lose fat or to recover, too much alcohol is obviously not going to be good for you and not going to benefit your goals. We don't advocate for cutting it out. If you enjoy your glass of wine on a Friday evening, by all means, alcohol just shouldn't be something that is part of your daily routine, like a glass every night after you come home with your dinner. That's not what we advocate for, but we also don't advocate for being like, you must stop drinking immediately. So why macros matter? 1 gram of protein is equivalent to 4 calories. I'm like trying to think of all of this shit. Oh, sorry, I shouldn't say shit.
It's too late now.
And then 1 gram of carbs, also the same as a protein, also carries 4 calories. And then your fats, lastly, is 9 calories. 1 gram of fat is equivalent to 9 calories. So if you're only counting calories but not looking at what those calories are, what they are made of, you might feel hungry, sluggish, or not see results actually. Because let's say you are trying to lose weight and your maintenance calories are 2,200. So if you're trying to lose weight, you obviously want to be in a calorie deficit of between 1,600 and 1,800. If the calories that you are consuming for those 1,600 or 1,800 are mostly made up of fats or carbs, then the balance is off. Then obviously you're going to feel sluggish and you're going to feel hungry and stuff. And I just want to go back to the point earlier about a lot of people, when they decide to cut something out of their diet, they first go to carbs. Most times, the reason why they automatically feel better is not because they've cut the carbs out, and not because the carbs was the demon, but because they were consuming too much carbs in the first place. So all they did was bring the carb count or amount of carbs per day to the normal or the required amount of carbs. So yeah, that's something that I actually learned when I was just talking to clients and trying to find out. And I got one of my clients to just track what she was eating with no pressure of wanting to lose weight. We just wanted to understand what she was doing before we changed anything. I'm stuttering so much today, it's crazy. So through that experiment, we actually found that she was eating too much carbs. And when she just cut out carbs, she was then eating just a normal amount of carbs. So most people think that when they're cutting out carbs, they're eating less carbs, but they're not. They're eating the required amount in order for their bodies to feel great.
And this is also the thing, it's like the required amount people don't actually understand. And this is how you end up overeating or even undereating as well. Because you look at your body, for example, and you're like, okay, I can have this. Okay, I can have this. Like, even if you are a person who can eat whatever they want to and you don't gain weight. And from this point of view, the amount of your macros with every subdivision, everything will add up eventually at the end of the day and affect you somehow. Maybe you don't see it in your body, but like your brain function, your weight, all of those things as well. So eating according to your body is very important. It's all of us are
Yes.
different.
Yeah. 100%. And it's all about balance as well, because macros help our bodies to thrive. Macros help us to do all of the amazing things that we want to do every day, like jumping, running, all of the big movements that you do on a day. We don't just want to survive. We don't just want to live like sluggish, going from day to day, feeling like, oh, every day trying to pull yourself through because you're not eating correctly or eating according to what your body needs.
Yeah.
And then the sister of macronutrients are your micronutrients, also known as micros. And these are basically your vitamins and your minerals, which you don't need in large quantities like you do for your macros, hence it being called macros. Macro big, macro small. They're extremely essential. They keep your energy, your hormones, your immune system, and your mood in check. Like iron, magnesium, vitamin D, calcium, B12, everything that you can possibly think of, everything that you need to have normal bodily function, to have hormonal stability, to have a constant flow of energy. That's what your micronutrients are responsible for.
They're basically your bestie, keeping you in check.
Yeah. And obviously you get your micronutrients from your fruits, your veg, your whole grains, and then high quality proteins as well. So we always recommend eat everything. Like, you should be consuming everything. You should be consuming fruits. You should be consuming veg. You should be consuming fish, meat, chicken. Like, every source of protein, you want to get that in your body. In any source of grains, you want to get that in your body. And the reason for this is every food source provides you with a different vitamin or a different mineral that benefits your body in a certain way. Our ancestors, they ate from the earth, and they ate from the earth because the earth provided them with everything that they needed in order to have homeostasis inside of their body, but also for them to just do what they needed to do every day and to feel vibrant from the inside, to feel alive from the inside, and not using like caffeine or an additive to give them the feeling of awakeness. Because I promise you, if you can get to eating properly, and if you can get to eating from the rainbow, you will automatically feel healthier from the inside and then in your mind as well.
If we think about it as plant, the inside is like our soil, and what we consume is the water. And then our body and everything on the outside is the flowers that bloom. So we need to water this plant from the inside out.
Yeah. So the number one question I think that everyone is thinking is, how do you then apply all of this information to your daily life, like in real life, without becoming like a tracking robot, without being like, oh, I ate something now, I must write that down, you know? And the simple thing, or the thing that I would suggest, and Donaé mentions this all of the time, when it comes to protein, try to add protein to almost every meal that you are consuming, whether it's a snack, breakfast, lunch, or dinner. Make sure that you're getting at least 20 to 30 grams of protein in every meal. Now, I know for snacks that's a bit hard unless one of your snacks are a protein shake. Getting 20 grams of protein in like just a normal snack of berries and stuff is not always going to work. But if you want to have maybe a slice of peanut butter toast with banana, that's a great way of getting some protein. And then you also want to include some carbs and some fats onto your plate. Obviously, your fat should not outweigh your entire meal. When I do have my half of apple on my toast, I'm wary of the fact that I've consumed half an apple. So then the rest of my day, I won't be going crazy with the fats. So all of these things are things that you need to keep in mind when you are planning your meals and what you're wanting to eat. And I know it must be tiring to constantly think, oh my gosh, must I plan my meal again? Oh my gosh, must I do this again? But if you do it on a Sunday, or if you do it the day before for the next day, then it doesn't feel so overwhelming. And then lastly, another tip on how you can keep things super, super simple, add as much veg to your meals as you possibly can. Andy and I always get into a little debate about this, because he will have like his protein source on his plate and then he'll have one veg. Like last night, perfect example, we had lamb and then we had sliced grilled cauliflower. But then the afternoon already, I said to him, oh, I want some spinach as well. Because he's turned to cook last night. So he was cooking and then I was like waiting for the spinach, but I didn't say anything. Then he was almost done. He's like, are you not making the spinach? He was like, do you want spinach as well? I was like, yes, I want like at least minimum 2 veggies on my plate when I'm eating. So those are just small things that you can do to make sure that you are eating between 2 or 3 veg per mealtime as well. Fruits or veg, I would say. Like with me, if you didn't want to have the spinach, you can add a fruit in place, maybe some apple or some banana. I always add fruits onto Ella's plate with her meal.
Actually, I started doing that as well recently, is adding a fruit to my plate at night when I have supper, which has actually been really nice. It's like you finish your food and then it's like a sweet treat at the end, but it's like refreshing in the same plate. It's actually really nice to do that. So feed yourself like you would your child. Yeah.
And when I make tuna salad, I add an apple into my tuna salad. It's yummy.
Ooh, I have to try that, please.
It's so yummy.
Please and thank you.
Make a macaroni, and then I'll add a ton of tuna, a paprika, half an onion, an apple, and then mayo, like 2 or 3 tablespoons, depending on how much it needs. And then I'll add my apple in at the end with coriander.
That sounds so good.
You should try it.
I'm going to try it this weekend for sure.
It's so refreshing and it's nice for summer.
It smells refreshing. It sounds refreshing. What's happening with my senses today?
Okay. And then drink your water. most importantly, drink your water. Like, you need the water to help with breaking down everything that we've just said, as well as transporting the vitamins and minerals around your body and stuff like that. It's so important, guys. Please drink your water. And then get enough sleep and keep on keeping on. I'm going to say, don't stop in the beginning. You're going to be 2-3 weeks in and you're not going to see any results. We're not going to lie to you and say you're going to see results outwardly, because you're just not. You're probably only going to see results after week 6 physically. The first couple of weeks when you're starting to make this change, it's mostly about inward. Everything that you're doing to change your health in the beginning, only your body on the inside is going to feel the effects of that. After 6 weeks is when you will be able to see on the outside, maybe, oh, my pants are fitting better, my t-shirts are fitting better, or whatever. But in the first couple of weeks, it's about building that foundation, making sure that your foundation is strong, making sure that your body is ready for whatever else you're going to throw at it. And you also might get sick, actually, when you change your diet in this way. It has happened to me so many times. It has happened to clients. They say, Zoe, I just started eating well and putting all this fruit and this veg into my body, but my body doesn't want it. I've gotten sick. But no, it's just a healing process and a recovery process that your body is going through, and switching systems, and your gut bacteria is fighting, and your body's like, no, I want to be healthy. She wants to be healthy. So that is happening on the inside. So continue to show up for yourself. Continue to be consistent in wanting change as well.
I think that's beautiful advice, because a lot of people want instant gratification when they do these things and then they give up. And even earlier, when you were saying about like tracking in the beginning is very difficult, after a while, if you've done it long enough, if you do it long enough and you were consistent long enough, you actually know your portion size without having to whip up your MyFitnessPal or the macros app or whatever you're counting your calories on. You won't even need it anymore, because you'll be able to see just by your eyes that this is the amount of potatoes, this is the size of the chicken, type of thing. So be patient with yourself and give yourself time to actually build that confidence, I'd say, because that's ultimately what it comes down to, is having confidence in what you are putting on your plate. So all of us should eat with confidence.
100%. And awareness. Like, especially if you feel like tracking your macros is just too much and you don't have time to be doing that, start with awareness. Start with the understanding of, I want to have more protein on my plate and I want to have more veg on my plate. And then you build your plate from there. Start with then having the water, or start with focusing on your sleep. Like we said a couple of weeks ago, sleep is always the easiest thing that you can fix. So making sure that you are getting enough sleep is always the easiest thing. And then get a water bottle with a straw. You drink so much more water when you are drinking out of a straw. Having a glass on your desk at work or at school or wherever, you probably find that that glass is only half by the time it gets to 12 o'clock, because it's the action of having to lift the glass up and then drink and then putting it back down. We're grabbing a bottle, taking a sip and then putting it back down. It's a faster action. So we also need to trick our brains into wanting to do these things, because I always say this, as humans, we are lazy by nature. Your body doesn't want to spend any more energy than what it has to. So you need to find ways to work with that. Find things that can make this journey easier for you. And that all starts with awareness.
100% easy. Things that work, don't complicate it for no reason.
This episode helped you make sense of your macros and your micros. And please do us a favor and drop a like. And then send this to your gym bestie, your group chat, or that friend who thinks that protein shakes are just for dudes, or your mom, like Donaé's mom. I spoke to my mom last night about collagen.
Now they want to know.
And if you're loving these chats and want more real talk about fitness, food, and confidence, obviously you know what to do. Hit that subscribe button. Follow us on YouTube, on Instagram at Giggles&Glutes. And if you are an audio listener, you're welcome to join us on YouTube. But if you're on YouTube and you also want to listen to us on another platform, sometimes obviously when you don't want to be taking your phone out, you can listen to us on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Please come back and hang out with us every week on a Monday. Now, about that announcement that we mentioned earlier, we've been working on something really exciting. We are finally going to add something to the podcast, or a new dynamic that some of you have been asking for, and that is a live online class. The last Saturday of Feb, we will be hosting a live online class at 9 in the morning, not too early, not too late in the day. I think 9 is the perfect time.
It is the perfect.
We'll be posting on our socials and obviously giving you guys more information in the next episode, so stay tuned for everything. This is just something that we want to do to grow our community and also bring those that's been here since day one closer. I see you, return viewer. Revealing in the next episode a little bit more information, but we just wanted you guys to know that something is coming, so stay tuned.
Also, side note, this is completely free. We're going to sweat, we're going to laugh, and we are going to move together. That's the aim of the game. And we look forward to having you join Zoe and I on Giggles&Glutes with our gigglers as we break a sweat.
Awesome, guys. Then we'll catch you in the next one. Take care.
Thanks for joining. Bye.
Bye.